RPA, Robotic Process Automation, by Robocorp, Commercial, Libraries 1 to 49 in alphabetic order. Archive is a library for operating with zip and tar packages. Assistant, the assistant library provides a way to display information to a user and request input while a robot is running. It allows building processes that require human interaction. Also, it offers capabilities of running other robots inside the current one and determine what to display to the user based on his previous responses. Browser. Playwright. The Playwright-based browser library uses bundled browser executables as part of its package to avoid browser version conflicts and to enable browser patches to maximize automation possibilities. In practice, this means that some extra steps are required to install it for use in a project. Browser. Selenium. Selenium Library is a web testing library for Robot Framework. This document explains how to use keywords provided by Selenium Library. For information about installation, support, and more, please visit the project pages. For more information about Robot Framework, see Calendar, library for handling different operations for date and time handling, especially in business days and holiday contexts. Utilizing Pendulum and Holidays packages. Cloud.aws, Oz is a library for operating with Amazon Oz Services S3, Squares, Textract and Comprehend. Services are initialized with keywords like init S3 client for S3. Oz Authentication. Authentication for Oz is set with keyID and access key, which can be given to the library in 3 different ways. Cloud. Azure. Azure is a library for operating with Microsoft Azure API endpoints. List of supported service names. Computer vision. Face. Speech. Text analytics. Cloud. Google. Google is a library for operating with Google API endpoints. Installation. Usage requires the following steps. Create a GCP project. Enable a Proyata piece. Create credentials. Install RPA Framework Google package. Check the latest package version from Pipey. Crypto, library for common encryption and hashing operations. Library uses by default Ethernet format for encryption. More specifically, it uses AES in CBC mode with a 128-bit key for encryption and MAC with SHA-256 for authentication. Alternative encryption format for the library is AES-256. To use the encryption features, generate a key with a command line utility RPA Crypto or with a keyword generate key. Store the key in a secure place, such as Robocorp Vault, and load it within the execution before calling encryption-decryption keywords. Database. Database is a library for handling different database operations. All database operations are supported. Keywords query and get rows return values by default in RPA. Table format. Library is compatible with any database API specification 2.0 module. Desktop. Desktop is a cross-platform library for navigating and interacting with desktop environments. It can be used to automate applications through the same interfaces that are available to human users. The library includes the following features. Mouse and keyboard input emulation. Starting and stopping applications. Finding elements through image template matching. Scraping text from given regions. Taking screenshots. Clipboard management. Desktop. Clipboard, deprecated. Use library RPA. Desktop's clipboard functionality instead. Clipboard is a library for managing clipboard, copy text to, paste text from, and clear clipboard contents. Desktop. Operating system. Operating system is a cross-platform library for managing computer properties and actions. Desktop. Windows. Windows is a library for managing the Windows operating system. Deprecation warning. Use RPA. Windows library instead. Document A. Wrapper library offering generic keywords for initializing, scanning and retrieving results as fields from documents. Document A. Basics for IE. Library to support Basics4.ai service for intelligent document processing. Library requires at a minimum RPA Framework version 19.0.0. Document A. Nanonets. Library to support a non-net service for intelligent document processing. Library requires at a minimum a framework version 19.0.0. Service supports identifying fields in the documents, which can be given to the service in multiple different file formats and via URL. Email. Exchange. Exchange is a library for sending, reading, and deleting emails. Exchange is interfacing with Exchange web services. Email. IMAP. IMAP is a library for sending, reading, and deleting emails. IMAP is interfacing with SMTP and IMAP protocols. About criteria argument. Various keywords like list messages and move messages have keyword argument called criterion, which can be used to filter emails according to given criteria. Excel. Application. Excel. Application is a library for controlling the Excel application. Excel. Files. The Excel Files library can be used to read and write Excel files without the need to start the actual Excel application. It supports both legacy XLS files and modern XLSX files. Note: to run macros or load password-protected worksheets, please use the Excel application library. File system. The file system library can be used to interact with files and directories on the local computer. It can inspect and list files, remove and create them, read contents from files, and write data out. It shadows the built-in operating system library but contains keywords which are more oriented. FTP. FTP library can be used to access an FTP server and interact with files. The library is based on Python's built-in FTP lib. HTTP. The RPA.http library extends functionality of the requests library. See the documentation for several examples of how to issue GET requests and utilize the returned result objects. HubSpot. HubSpot is a library for accessing HubSpot using REST API. It extends HubSpot API client. Current features of this library focus on retrieving CRM object data from HubSpot via API. For additional information, see Understanding the CRM. Images. Images is a library for general image manipulation. For image-based desktop automation, use Zerba. Desktop library. Java Access Bridge. Java application IE automation library using Java Access Bridge technology. The library utilizes Java Access Bridge wrapper package to interact with Java IE. Currently only the 64-bit Windows OS is supported. SYN. SYN is a library for manipulating SYN files and strings. SYN is a common data interchange format inspired by a subset of the JavaScript programming language, but these days is a de facto standard in modern web APIs and is language agnostic. MFA. RPA.MFA is a library intended mainly for generating one-time passwords and not only, as OAuth 2 support was introduced lately. Library requires at a minimum a framework version 19.4.0. Based on the PIOT and requests OAuth lead packages. It provides support for both MFA with the OAuth-related keywords and OAuth 2 authorization code flow with the OAuth-related keywords. MSGRAPH. The MSGRAPH library wraps the O365 package, giving robots the ability to access the Microsoft Graph API programmatically. OAuth configuration. Graphs API primarily authenticates via the OAuth 2.0 authorization code GramFlow or OpenAI Connect. This library exposes the OAuth 2.0 flow for robots to authenticate on behalf of users. A user must complete an initial authentication flow with the help of our OAuth Graph example bot. NetSuite. NetSuite is a library for accessing NetSuite using NetSuite SOAP web service SuiteTalk. The library extends the NetSuite task library. More information available at NetSuite SOAP web service SuiteTalk. Notifier. Notifier is a library interfacting with different notification providers. Supported providers. Email. Gmail. Pushover. Slack. Telegram. Twilio. OpenAI. Library to support OpenAI and Azure OpenAI services. Library is not included in the RPA framework package, so in order to use it you have to add RPA framework OpenAI with the desired version in your conda.yaml file. Outlook. Application, Outlook. Application is a library for controlling the Outlook application. About email filtering. Emails can be filtered according to specifications set by restrict method of the item class. PDF. PDF is a library for managing PDF documents. It can be used to extract text from PDFs, add watermarks to pages, and decrypt and encrypt documents. Merging and splitting PDFs is supported by Add Files to PDF keyword. Read the keyword documentation for examples. Robocorp. Process, a library for interacting with control room process API endpoints. See unattended processes for information about process run, step run and work item states. See APIs and webooks for information about control room APIs. The process API endpoint is defined by RC API process host environment variable, which is available during Robocorp workforce agent runs. Robocorp. Storage, control room asset storage library operating with the cloud built-in key value store. Library requires at a minimum a framework version 24.0.0. Robocorp. Vault. Vault is a library for interacting with secrets stored in the Robocorp control room vault or file-based secrets, which can be taken into use by setting some environment variables. Robocorp Vault relies on environment variables, which are normally set automatically by the Robocorp work agent or assistant when a run is initialized by the Robocorp control room. When developing robots locally in Xcode, you can use the Robocorp code extension to set these variables automatically as well. Robocorp. Work items, a library for interacting with control room work items. Work items are used for managing data that go through multiple steps and tasks inside a process. Each step of a process receives input work items from the previous step, and creates output work items for the next step. Item structure. A work item's data payload is SYN and allows storing anything that is serializable. This library by default interacts with payloads that are a dictionary of key-value pairs, which it treats as individual variables. These variables can be exposed to the robot framework task to be used directly. RobotLog Listener. RobotLog Listener is a library for controlling logging during a robot framework execution using the Listener API. About keyword parameters. Parameters names and keywords for keywords mute run on failure and register protected keywords do not need to be full names of keywords, that is all keywords matching even partially will be affected. Run keyword would match all built-in library keywords and of course all run keyword name keywords in any resource and/or library file which are imported would be matched. Also, Salesforce. Salesforce is a library for accessing Salesforce using REST API. The library extends Simple Salesforce Library. More information available at Salesforce REST API Developer Guide. Data Loader. The keyword execute data loader import can be used to mimic Salesforce data loader import behavior. SAP. This library wraps the upstream SAP library. The SAP library is a library that enables users to create tests for the SAP GUI application. The library uses the SAP scripting engine, therefore scripting must be enabled in SAP in order for this library to work. Slack, a framework library for Slack operations. Smartsheet. Smartsheet is a library for accessing Smartsheet using the Smartsheet API 2.0. It extends Smartsheet Python SDK. Tables. Tables is a library for manipulating tabular data inside Robot Framework. It can import data from various sources and apply different operations to it. Common use cases are reading and writing CSV files, inspecting files and directories, or running tasks using existing Excel data. Import types. The data table can be of two main types. An iterable of individual rows, like a list of lists, or list of dictionaries. A dictionary of columns, where each dictionary value is a list of values. Tasks. Tasks is a library for controlling task execution during a robot framework run. It allows conditional branching between tasks, loops and jumps, and optionally validating the execution through a schema file. It can also be used to visualize the tasks as a graph. Execution model. In a typical robot framework run, Tasks are ordered linearly in a file and they're executed in definition order. Events that happen during the execution cannot affect the order and only have the option to fail the task or continue as defined. Using the tasks library, it's possible to change this model according to different states or inputs. Twitter is a library for accessing Twitter using Developer API. The library extends Tweepy library. Authorization credentials can be given as parameters for authorized keyword, or keyword can read them in as environment variables. Twitter consumer key, Twitter consumer secret, Twitter access token, Twitter access token secret. Library usage requires Twitter developer credentials. Those can be requested from Twitter developer site. Windows. The Windows is a library that can be used for Windows desktop automation. Library is included in the RPA framework package by default, but can be also installed separately without RPA framework. Word application. Word application is a library for controlling the Word application.